Welcome to B2B Tech Mindset, where we explore how technology drives business success. Join us as we discuss the latest software solutions, trends, and strategies that can help you stay ahead of the curve. Develop a tech mindset and learn how to leverage technology for growth in your organization.
So welcome to another episode of the B2B Tech Mindset. As you can see for the images on the new colors, etc. So we do a rebranding of the podcast. This is our new name now. So welcome. We're gonna keep talking about the same topics, is business and technology, but under a new name.
Yeah, we changed the name. There was this other podcast in Apple. We found they had exactly the same name and they were also pretty active. So we thought it was a wise thing to do to change the name. And we were really happy that it happened early on. So it's not that we are like 100 episodes in, but now we're at the very beginning. So we're still flexible. We can still change direction, steer here and there where we think makes sense. And we include the word mindset in the name of the podcast because we think mindset is important in bringing business and technology together, because it's oftentimes a question of mindset. Are we culturally ready to do this thing? And this was something that inspired us for the topic of the day, which is discussing partnerships and the technologies that we can use to create those partnerships, strengthen those partnerships in the B2B environment or in general in business. Partners are super important. I discovered that in my last gig because before that, I thought that it was a great idea. Actually, I was working in companies that were pretty much autonomous. I don't know in your case how it was, but my first tour in the game industry, basically the company where I was working, they did everything. Yeah. They build a CRM and they build the support system, and they had the payment system. Even it was PCI compliant, so there was very little that was with partners.
Yeah, my first company here in Germany was also like everything was built like in-house. Like like payments was also handled in-house with our own software or our own payment gateway. We did have partners, a couple of partners to help with some things like SEO back in the day, with some redesign that we need. For that, we had a partner back in the day to do visual redesign of the website. But for those particular skills that we didn't have in the core team, it was a pretty small company as well. So for that we partner with other companies.
Yeah, but in general, I saw this. I mean, when I first came here to Germany at the beginning, I noticed that there was a trend in many companies that they were not really using a lot of software from other people. Over time, that has been changing. So over time now, with the rise of more software as a service, more SaaS, you see it more often that people now delegate in other companies. And now you see even some very successful, even German companies, that they use software as a service to improve their operations. So it's something that is slowly taking a grip into how people conduct businesses here, but it's not still something that is widely available. So still, for things like go-to-market, is something that you don't often see as top of mind. People know they might need it for, I don't know, they need HR software, or they might need some CRM software, or they might need some productivity suite, stuff like that. But when they think about, well, how do I sell my product? For instance, they might think about a marketing agency, for instance, someone who helps them to create a campaign. but
Exactly.
not so much in the direction of using distribution channels. You know, like have an enterprise channel that helps them to put the things out there. And the funny thing was, I was doing some research the other day, and to me, it was not clear because I've been working in organizations where this is something that exists. You know, so you have a partner network, and you have somehow to maintain those relationships. But there is something called PRM. So have you ever heard of this PRM thing?
No, I heard of CRM, but not PRM.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the same thing. It's like is partner relationship management. And
No,
and I was surprised that there is a whole world of offerings out there that do exactly this. And
all right.
yeah, it's fascinating. I at the beginning I thought, because the use case that I think that comes more often is when you build, say you build a software, you have a SaaS.
Yes, yeah.
And then you want to distribute that SaaS, that software as a service that you have, and then you have enterprise customers. And the best way, it's really hard, you know, these sales cycles in the enterprise, they take a lot of time. I take, you know, so for 6 months, a year.
Many is like as a multi-year,
yeah, they take long. So we had a glitch. My camera stopped working. This is what happens when you have I'm wearing I don't want to batch the you know, it's a pretty well regarded brand, but you need to have a backup battery. And I did not have a backup battery, and this is what happens. Now the camera is charging slowly from my computer. So I am switching to my webcam, and I think there's a little bit of noise, but I hope it's okay, because this camera doesn't deal too well with darkness. So imagine that now you have a SaaS, you build a SaaS, and you want to sell that SaaS to other businesses. So it's not a B2C scenario, you have a B2B scenario, what you are in, and then you know that you have to deal with procurement, especially if you're dealing with really big companies. If you are in corporate or enterprise environment, those sales cycles, they last forever. So it takes you from 6 months to a full year to place your product, to convince people, to have everyone on board that you need to have on board on the other side. So, you know, the whole jazz, we've been through that before. And what we've noticed is that there are some really big companies, big successful companies, and most of them offer, or they have, a partner network, which essentially is a platform. It's a framework they have, because it's not only software, it's also processes and people, roles they have, that allows you to onboard partners and give them training, share opportunities with them, share go-to-marketing strategies, all these things. It's made in an organized way. And obviously there is also the whole revenue sharing and all that things that are
affiliates and stuff like
affiliates and all those things. And then I found that there is something called PRMs that allows you to do that, and they sell this service as a wide label solution. So if you don't have a partner network and you want to build one, you can use just one of these services, and it's very close to CRM. So you were right. You were mentioning, well, I know CRM, but PRM is slightly different. I guess you can grab your CRM and you can tweak it and twist it, and you end up having a PRM. But essentially, there are different relationships or different activities, different workflows that you need to execute in the context of a partnership. So the super cool thing that I found when I was doing my research is that, for instance, if you have, it's not only about selling your software, it's about promoting your software. If you want to have, say, a YouTube campaign, well, you can use this to manage your, the YouTubers, or the influencers, So
Mhm.
it's pretty interesting. You can manage your YouTubers. You can manage if you have influencers in other social media accounts, you can also manage them. But also you can, and which I think is the most important use case, you can take, say, integrators, so companies who actually go and do work at the other company. So say that they are building some software system, they are helping to build a data warehouse, or they are consulting in HR or in marketing or in finance. And then you can get in touch with these people, and these people can help you as a distribution channel to get a foot in the door, so you can easily sell your product and service. So that's the idea of a PRM. And I found that pretty cool. And because it's a piece of software, and many people, I think, are not aware that this exists as a software.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that was a thing that people can use to actually manage their partner. That's actually a good thing, because having, like, for me, using a software, it gives you a sense, probably comes with predefined processes or predefined type of partners that you can reuse without much effort in your organization. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. As I always say, in business, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's actually a waste of time most of the time. But you can reuse these processes and naming conventions and stuff like that are pretty fine, or they're battle tested, let's say, like that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So and for
On
instance,
also the
yeah,
go ahead,
go
sorry.
ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, on the other thing is, like, if that is the something that you need, like, oh, it's a bunch of work to manage all that. Well, now you probably have a solution, a software solution to base your partner managing campaign on that. On definitely having a set of partners, it's like starting that movement in that direction for your business is important, because they not only, like, for me, a partner is someone that can help you grow, like you grow together with your partners, or both. It's a win-win situation between two businesses most of the time. So
Yeah, it's a really interesting concept. I have to admit, and the reason why I think it was opaque to me is because there needs to be a certain level of maturity to think about these kind of things. So if you are just getting started and you don't have a proven sales engine, I was listening at some figures that some people were talking about, and they were saying that many businesses, when they're getting started, they sell through other partners around 3% of the total sales volume, which is almost nothing. 3-4%.
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
you usually tend to see. The goal when you have a PRM or a successful partner network should be to sell perhaps up to 30%. And 30%, that's a sizable part of the business. I mean, still, you will need to have a sales force in place that is able to go and, the whole account management and go in sales and do, direct sales. But having a partner network that creates 30% of your leads, of your total leads, that's sizable. That's important. And
yeah, that's a very good place to be. Yeah,
that's a really good place to be. And it's a third of the business. And that's, and the interesting thing is that it goes in both directions, because it generates not only more business for you, it can also generate more business for the partners you're working with, because it can go in both directions. So that for me was interesting. And you're right too about the subject of giving you a template about how to go with creating this partner network, because there are standard things that you need to have. You need to have a model for deal registration, for instance. That's an important thing. You need to have deal management. You need to have content management. You need to have a partner portal. All these things that are standard. Like if you have a big organization that has already a partner program, you will find these things. There is a partner program. Usually you go to partner.blah.blah.com. And if you are beginning in this journey, it's important that you have a piece of software that gives you all these things. that helps you with the
Mhm.
whole management, and also with, especially what I think is painful is the whole calculation that you have to pass to finance. So if you are giving kickbacks to your partners, if you have, it's a structure in a certain way, these deals that you're doing with them, all these things, if you have a software platform that allows you to run all these calculations and then offloads all that work from, say, your finance department, then I think it's a huge win.
Yes, yeah, definitely. As you were saying, like the template on, I mean, the software is designed specifically for that particular set of problems, like managing your partner network in a successful way. So that's the goal of the software, like help you manage the thing in a successful way. So having that unlock and actually follow that, make it a small modification to the particularities of your own business will be like the recommended way, like most of the software as a service that we know. And I cannot emphasize enough, like partners is also a very good way to grow. But as you were saying, you need a certain maturity because you have different kind of partners. You have like partner like help you sell your product directly as part of their solution. I don't know. One example that would be at the top of my head, you have a company that produce like things for the bathroom, right? When you partner with construction companies, they sell your products as part of their offering. So you have a bunch of construction companies, when you make deals with them, you sell your products to them very cheap, and they'll resell your products basically to their customer a little bit a little bit higher in price or included in the price or whatever. Those kind of deals or partnerships have happen all the time in B2B, for instance.
Yeah, so it's something that you see all over the place, and also there are different flavors, as you mentioned. You could have also within one of these PRMs affiliate programs, which is especially in the internet, that's pretty well distributed. This is more focused on the online activities. If you have one of these affiliate programs, it doesn't have to necessarily be that way, to give referral codes and discounts and that sort of thing, but they support also these modalities, which are sometimes important. And the other things that some of these portals, some of these tools support is the whole interaction in social media. I think I was talking about that before my camera shut down. That essentially you can think of all the influencers you're working with as partners, and then you need to onboard them. You need to give them access to your knowledge base so they can better understand your product. Perhaps they can drill a little bit deeper on how to use your product. What are the advantages of using it? Why deciding against you? What is the unique selling proposition? All these things that otherwise you will have to spend time explaining to every single one of these influencers that are out there. Well, if you now have one of these PRM tools, you can onboard them, and then they have also access to all these knowledge base, and then it makes their life much, much easier. And if you combine this with an affiliate program where they have referral codes and that thing, then you have a full solution that helps them to run their, to do what they do in a more efficient way and to connect with you in a more professional manner. So I was fascinated that something that is as important as that was not more visible. That is a term that if you are in business, you probably know it, but many companies I've worked with are not aware of the importance of having a PRM, which to me is surprising.
Well, not only having a PRM, they are not aware of the importance of having a partner network. Anyway, so
in general,
yeah. You were mentioning the onboarding and stuff, like education on like building your partner in the information that they need to know about your products or your organization or your services is actually one of the most important things, because the more that your partner knows about your product, the better they're gonna help you sell that product. The better they're gonna introduce that product in their offerings. So
Yeah, it's a little bit like outsourcing your sales specialists. So you are just outsourcing, delegating that. Basically, what you're having is agents or contractors that are doing the sales process for you. And that's it's a very elegant solution. Obviously has the disadvantage that these people might also work with other people, but then you have the flexibility to scale as your biz fits. So that I think in general it's a really cool thing. I think, however, that there's still space for people to innovate here, because the solutions that I found were pretty basic. So it's not super sophisticated or anything. Basically, it's a CRM that is tweaked in a way that allows you to build that on top. Yeah, but I think it could be more intelligent. So some of these solutions. I mean, one thing that I consider very important in the partner-to-partner activities is that you need to really find the partners that are specialized in the business areas that you are interested in. And the more niche and the higher that level of specialization is, the higher the probability is that you're going to land a deal if you go through that channel, if you go through that partner. So the ability to find partners that are really good enough, the discovery part, is something that I don't see too often in any of these platforms. Usually what they offer is the software to manage their relationships. But so that's kind of like the easy part, if you will. But I think the secret sauce is really in this discovering what partners are a good fit for me. And I think it also goes in the other direction, because if you are, say, a service integrator, someone who offers services, works directly in direct contact with the end customer, you also want to understand if this software provider, if this product provider is qualified to sell to this end customer. You want to understand what is the track record. What is going to be the possible longevity of this company. Perhaps there are some financials that are interested for you. Is this company going to stay around long enough? Because what happens if company X now is using for, say, the HR processes, a company that goes broke in a month. So that's a really bad spot.
Then they don't get support, and the server is always a server. It shut down the server, and then you can't.
It's a huge nightmare. So the discovery of partners, then who is really capable of offering what my customer needs, and who is able to find the customers that I really need that fit my product, going in both directions. I think that's something that there is still some space. Probably there are some companies working on that. I haven't done the research, but my impression is that this market is not that ripe, and there's a lot of opportunity there. I think in general there's a lot of opportunity.
I think there's not a tool to do that, but probably a lot of consultancies will do that for you. Will do that research for you, like finding your partners or introducing you to the right partners in the right market, in the right niche that you are working on. Probably it's part of their services as well.
Of course, they're going to go and do the due diligence, and at the end of the day, when one of these partners, if you have one of these service integrators that go and try to place your product, at the end of the day, procurement is going to get involved, and they're going to try to figure out, how good is this? And obviously, it's going to accelerate. Exactly, it's going to accelerate the process, but it's not going to completely remove the process. Other than, and this is when it gets really interesting, if you go through some, especially if you are a SaaS, again, we are, this is a particular category of business, but if you are a SaaS provider, then if you sell through a marketplace, then this might actually shortcut a lot of the process.
Yeah, because you already made it to be in the
Exactly.
marketplace. So
Yeah. And then,
so somewhere, yeah.
yeah.
So
And then,
somewhere go
yeah, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
somewhere took the time to analyze what you do and like make some due diligence and put you in the marketplace in some place that categorize what you do, that other people can find you, whatever. So yeah.
And then there is another advantage to that, which is that sometimes the end customer allocated a budget
Mhm.
for to work together with this service provider. So
Yeah.
if your service lands under that budget, or if you have an allocation of budget within that marketplace that your service provider is working with, then you can leverage that and perhaps shortcut the whole procurement process. You know,
Yeah.
so it
Yeah.
could be much faster for you to land. And this is actually a real scenario. So this is not something that, you know,
Mhm.
we came up with. It's something that can really happen. So I think for many companies who are in that space, could be really interesting to think seriously about how to build those partner networks. Because again, one very interesting pattern that I see often is that when you find a really big software company out there,
Mhm.
usually they have a partner network. Not usually, all of them,
All of them. All of
all of
them.
them.
All of
And
them.
then when you see a tiny company, tiny software company that you don't know if it's going to survive or not, they have not really worked really hard to trying to create this partner ecosystem. So
No.
I'm not saying that this is the thing that makes companies successful,
No,
but
definitely you cannot say that.
you
No.
cannot say that. But I think it's a
Cannot say
pretty
that.
good heuristic that if you have a partner network, it's because you have thought so much about your business that you definitely found this as an important
As an
channel to,
opportunity. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like it, yeah, and also there is a lot of not a lot, but some business model associated with having partner network. Like you can charge for um, education, like you can
Mhm.
offer certifications if you are a technology provider, right? Other people build on your technology, for
Mhm.
instance, then you can offer like certifications and charge for that certification, and then they are certified in that particular technology that you are selling. So what that means is more trust for the people that hired these other companies. They are certified partner from your technology on that kind of stuff. They can also be a very nice side revenue stream for your company if you are a technology provider.
That's actually a super important point, because that's one of the topics that people refer often as making a choice of, well, why would I sell your product instead of the other product? Is, well, what is your learning platform? How can I train my people in your product? Because at some point I would at least offer some initial support, or
Yeah,
pre-sales support. I will try to deploy the whole thing,
yeah.
and people need training. And where do you get that training from? So thinking about certification processes, having a knowledge base, how do you manage that? How many people got what certification? What are the learning paths that you have? I mean, that's a whole universe in itself. And
Yeah,
I'm not really sure that these platforms so far cover that much. I mean, some of them, they have content management, and they have even business plans and deal plans and all these things. But it's something that to do that on your own is a lot of work.
it's a lot of work. Yeah,
It's a lot
yeah,
of work. And I think it's not, even for many companies, it's not part of the plan. It's just not something they
yeah.
think
No, 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 no.
often about. And they should, because there's a lot of work, and there's a huge opportunity there.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, but it comes with the size. So at certain size, when you cannot deal, let's say you cannot deal with your request, like you have too many requests, then you have to partner. That probably will be the first time that you need to partner with someone. Well, then you get a smaller company or sister company or whatever, when you pass some of your deals to them using your technology or whatever, and that is probably the first time when you realize, oh, I need one partner, at least one partner. So
Sometimes it goes even in the opposite direction. Sometimes it goes in the direction from, oh, I think I can do partnerships now because I can't grow this fast. So that's also an argument that goes in this other direction. I don't have the processes in place to grow that fast.
yeah.
So I cannot get into this partnership business because I'm just not there. I don't have processes, I don't have scale, I don't have the amount of support that is necessary to onboard that many customers. So for that reason, I'm hands off from this deal. But it's interesting because that objection means that these partner networks, they really work. If what you want is to find new customers, it really works.
Yes.
It's like, I mean, and you find the interesting thing is that you find a similar model for, say, pharmaceutical companies. I mean, they do something similar. They invite doctors and they explain doctors the benefits of the products, and then at the end of the day, the doctors sell to the end customers or to the insurance companies, through the customers, through the patients.
Yes.
But it's a very similar model. Now, in this case, the partners are the health specialists.
Yes.
That's the partner. That's the distribution. That's the distribution channel. And you can extrapolate this idea to many other business areas. And I think it's a rather elegant way of doing things. So you don't.
I know for a fact that pharmaceutical companies have a huge. So the main sales force is doing exactly that, like managing
for doctors.
Exactly, we're managing the doctors. Yeah. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear. Every time that you go to the doctor and you get something, some drug or whatever it is that you receive a treatment.
Yeah.
Basically, there is someone who produced that, and so you are involved in this network, in this distribution channel. So, and again, it's many other areas of work. If you are also a therapist, then there's people who is going to sell the product that the therapist is going to use towards the end customer, or you name it. If you are in education, it's the same thing. You might use a software or a service that some companies build in, and then you're going to use it. So it's a model that might work pretty well, because, and then you have this effect that is, to me, is one of the most exciting things of this model, that you have this win-win-win. Because in the best case scenario, this product is improving the quality of life of the end customer.
Yeah.
Your partner has another revenue of income. So it's not only being paid, exactly. It's not only being paid because of the service that it's providing, but it's also being paid because of reselling your products. And you have obviously the benefit of accelerating
more business. Yeah, you have more business. Your partner have more business and more money on. Hopefully, the end customer get a better product.
So that's. I think it's an interesting model. And again, PRM. For those of you listening, watching, that didn't know, and you're thinking about how to scale, makes a lot of sense. There's a bunch of them out there, and just go and check it out. You will be surprised if you still don't work with any of them. How you can grow.
At least to start, like if you don't have a partner network, you're thinking how to start, basically like testing one of these solutions, because again, they have a template that you can reuse for your particular business. So it's a pretty good thing.
Even if you go to their website and you go to the product solution, to the product section, you can see essentially a map of all the functionalities that you need within this partner network. because now they have decomposed this problem in, again, lead sharing and partner onboarding and partner portal and lead generation and business plans and content management
or whatever.
All these things. So you go there and you see this map, and then these are all the things I have to think about if I want to work with them, with partners, and this might accelerate the way you see things. And if you decide to use one of these, again, we are not promoting anyone here, so we refrain to use the name of companies in this podcast. But if you look at the pricing of some of these companies, it's pretty reasonable. If you are a B2B company, this is something that for the value that you will be getting, it's reasonable. So
think about it. Write us in our email down here. Tell us what you're thinking about your partner network. If you have one, if you think that you need one, or you think that you don't need one, or if you ask us if we can help you with that, if you need to as well. So, all right, then this is a wrap on. We see us next week.
Yeah, and hopefully with enough battery in my camera. So see you then. Bye.
See you then. Bye-bye.